This morning, the ISIS brides and their children have touched down in Australia. Our arrests on the way. 2 men arrested over the manhunt for cop killer Desi Freeman. We mark 8 months on from 4-year-old Gus Lamont's disappearance from his South Australian home. And a group of thieves in Perth South frosted out by the cops. That's all coming up on the Sunrise Early News.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. 2 flights carrying the next group of women and children linked to Islamic State have touched down in Australia. 2 women and 7 children landed in Melbourne, while 4 women and 6 children arrived in Sydney. The families were quickly ushered away from public view as scuffles broke out outside Melbourne Airport. The AFP says inquiries into the Australians who travelled to Syria remain ongoing. So far, no arrests have been made. Victorian police have arrested 2 men as part of the investigation into cop killer Desi Freeman's movements after he shot and killed 2 officers in August last year. Task Force Summit detectives raided 2 different properties in the state's northeast, arresting 2 men aged 48 and 35 years old. Freeman was on the run for 7 months before being killed in a police shootout on March 30. There are fears of more escalation in the Middle East conflict after the US launched new strikes against Iran's south. Live to Marley Hogan in Washington, D.C. Marley, the ceasefire between the US and Iran hanging by a thread.
Yeah, Eddie, good morning. Iran has accused the United States of violating the fragile ceasefire after the US military launched those strikes on targets in the southern part of the country. They targeted what they said were small Iranian boats attempting to lay mines in the Strait of Hormuz and also missile sites on land. Now, the US have argued that this was an act of self-defense, that those targets posed a threat, but Iran has now claimed that it has shot down an American drone and that it is prepared to launch more strikes. No comment from the Pentagon on that. Now, look, it is unclear how this is going to affect those very fragile negotiations that have been taking place to try and bring this war to an end. Later today, Donald Trump is meeting with his cabinet, and at this stage, the ceasefire holds, but it's unclear if those negotiations are going to progress any further. Eddie.
Thank you, Miley. Queensland detectives have charged a nurse with allegedly murdering her 4-year-old daughter inside her home near Ipswich, west of Brisbane. Emergency services attended the property to find the young girl unresponsive and unable to be revived just after 11 p.m. on Tuesday. Police are investigating if the girl was deliberately drowned by her 31-year-old mother. The pair was known to child protection authorities. The woman made no attempt at bail and will face court again in June. And if you're in a domestic violence situation or have any concerns, call the national hotline 1-800-RESPECT or 1-800-737-732. 4-year-old Gus Lamont vanished from his South Australian homestead 8 months ago today, and now officers have returned to his family's outback property with new hope. Detectives expect to be on the scene for several days. Gus's suspected death declared a major crime. Police are optimistic that recently subsided floodwaters in the area may unearth new discoveries in the disappearance of the little boy. A round of redundancies have hit the Carl and Jackie O show after ARN axed the show in March. However, Carl Sandilands has rallied around his former employees, offering multiple former staffers a place at his own business venture, King Kyle, just down the road from Kiss FM. Earlier this year, Sandilands was fired over a breach of contract, and both he and Jackie O are being taken to court later this year. Well, if you haven't already got your wellies and brollies out, now's the time to do so with soaking rains and intense weather forecast for southeast Queensland and the east coast in coming days. Heavy rain, thunderstorms and possible flash flooding are forecast from Queensland down through coastal New South Wales and South Australia. Queensland South may see up to 100 millimetres of rain across the coast and into the Darling Downs region, with winter well on its way. Well, police have closed in on an accused thief weeks after a truck was stolen while making a delivery in Perth South. The truck had thousands of dollars of white goods and electronics on board.
A frosty visit from police.
Stay on the ground now!
Detectives pouncing on an accused truck thief after an almost 3-week manhunt. A fridge sent flying. Tray left dragging. Officers say behind the wheel of the Isuzu isn't the delivery driver. The vehicle pinched in Willetton earlier this month while its actual driver was inside a customer's home.
It's not something what you see in a quiet suburb like Willetton.
$50,000 worth of white goods and electronics on board.
That's a bit shocking, especially at morning 8:45. You never expect something to happen like this.
The truck later found dumped more than 20 kilometres away in High Wycombe. The alleged bandits' run from the law coming to an end on Friday in Riverton. Officers also seizing some of the stolen goods from a Forestfield property. A 42-year-old man from Willetton is now facing the cold reality of his alleged crime. He'll face court next month on a string of offences, including stealing and no authority to drive. 3 other people have also been charged. A 43-year-old man with 1 count of receiving stolen goods, a 56-year-old man and 17-year-old girl with drug-related offences. Brianna in Ferreira, 7 News.
We're checking Wednesday's weather now. That rain on the way. Brisbane showers in 24, Sydney showers increasing in 22, Canberra possible shower in 19, Melbourne showers 17, Hobart also rain 17, Adelaide again showers 19. Guess what? Showers in Perth increasing 23, Darwin, the only sunny capital, 31 degrees. What's still to come on Sunrise Early News, the race against time for villagers trapped in Laos in a cave. And the UK smashes another heatwave record. That's next on Sunrise.